Dear student, welcome again. I am Dr. Vishal Kumar Lahiri, an assistant professor at Institute of Management Studies, Banaras Hindu University. We are discussing the course titled Principles of Management. And so far, in this course, we have covered up part 8. So, in total, week 8 we have completed, and so far we have got an understanding about the concept about the different management from 40 modules. So, in part 9 we will be covering up module 41 to 45, and in this module or in this part we will be covering an very essential function of the management, and it is something which is very important with respect to disseminating of information at all levels of management. So, the concept is communication. Okay. Whatever the function we have learned so far, whether the planning, organizing, staffing, leading, okay, all those functions depend upon the effective communication. What we have discussed in earlier part, that is the part 8, it was the leadership. We have thoroughly discussed about the types of the leader, the formal and informal leader, the manager and the leader, okay, characteristics, importance, so many things, theories we have discussed about leadership, motivation, alright. So, what do you think? All these things are possible only because if there is like effective flow or proper flow of information from bottom to top or top to bottom. Okay. Suppose a superior want to convey any message, instructions, order or anything, how they will be able to do that? It will be through communication. The communication can be like your verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Okay. Written communication, oral communication, there are different mediums or channels of the communication that we will be discussing in the part 9. But before that, let me just guide you about why communication is important. As discussed, communication is an essence of management. Like in order to develop a interpersonal relationship, coordination, harmonious relations within the organization, okay, any kind of formal or informal talks, any written document, policies, any kind of guidelines, all these things will be only effective because of proper communication. If there is a gap or any kind of noise in the communication, it will ultimately like act as a barrier for the communication, and all channels will not be efficiently done. So, with this gist we will be trying to understand what is communication. In this module we will be trying to understand the very basic concept about the communication, alright, nature of the communication, importance of the communication and the process of the communication. So, these things are very basic. So, we will be starting with the basic concept about the communication, and in the upcoming modules we will be delving more insights towards the communication. So, let us try to understand the concept about the communication. The term communication has been derived from the Latin word communicare or communis. Okay. So, it is a Latin word and its meaning is to make common. As you can see in the slide, communication means what? Common thing. Suppose in a group we conduct all the activity in the group. So, suppose there are 15 members in the group and you are conveying certain messages. Okay. Suppose there are 15 members, a superior is there, and superior is conveying some message or some kind of orders. Okay. So, all the 15 members should be conveying the message or some kind of getting the message with the same information or with the same common parameters. Okay. Suppose out of 15 members, 8 members are getting the message differently and 7 members are getting the message differently. It means there is lack of common sharing between all the 15 members. Okay, so communication is to make common, or the common thing which is conveyed across the group or the members. Okay, therefore, communication is the process of exchanging thoughts. So, what we communicate, what are the different elements that should be passed on to the one person or the members of a group. Okay, communication can be between two persons and more than two persons as well. A single person cannot communicate. At least you need two persons. And what are the things that you will be communicating? It will be your thoughts, okay, ideas, information, feelings. Like feeling could also be something which you can share. Feeling of happiness, joy, sorrow, sadness. These are also act as a communication. It does not mean that you will be always sharing written communication or the verbal communication. Okay, sometimes your facial expression is also an emotion. Okay, suppose your supervisor appreciating you with some kind of reward within the group. Okay, so you will be having a big smile. So that is part of like non-verbal communication, or we can say a body language which conveying some kind of information. Okay, so communication has different element. Feelings by way of speech, writing, signal between two or more people to reach a common understanding. Okay, like taking the same example, if we communicate like your superior has given you an appreciation and you smiled, and there are 15 members in the group. So what do you think? All the 15 members, the 14 members, because you are one of the members, all the 14 members will be conveying that because you are smiling, all the 14 members will be knowing that you are happy. Have you conveyed everyone, or you have verbally told them that yes, I am happy, yes, I am happy? No. It's your like emotion is also communicating. So communication is like different element are there through which you can communicate with the members or some other persons. Now let's try to understand the proper definition of the communication. With this we try to understand the concept about the communication. And Lewis Allen, we have seen different definition of Lewis Allen in the earlier concept as well. He defined communication is the sum of all the things one person does when he want to create an understanding in the minds of the others. How beautifully this definition is written. It is like sum of all the things one person does. So at least one person will be the sender, okay, and creating an understanding with more than or one person or more than one person of any common activity. Okay, so this is the flow of the communication from A to X, Y and Z. All right, so this is the proper definition. Now, what is the nature of communication? How we can make a element of the communication or the characteristics of the communication? Very first one is at least two person. As mentioned, at least two person will be there, A and B, so that A can communicate and B will provide some kind of feedback. A single person A cannot communicate to themselves. Okay. So at least one person should be there for the communication, a two-way process. It means like A is sharing some kind of written document, an official document of the company to B. Okay. Now B will be reverting it back that he or she has understood about everything with respect to the document which has been sent by the A. Either two possibility will be there, either A will not be able to understand clearly or A will be able to understand it clearly. In both the situation, there will be a feedback from the receiver to sender, so that a proper communication process will be completed. We will be discussing a communication model, Shannon and Weaver model, to get it more clear. So, second is it is a two-way process. Third one, it is a mutual understanding. Okay, like there is a flow of message from A to B, so that A and B will be having a mutual understanding about the subject matter. Okay, suppose A is sending something in for example German language. Okay, now B have no idea or has not learned the German language. So, in that case there is no mutual understanding between the two. Okay. Third one, it is a continuous process. Like we have discussed, all the management function is the continuous process, and so is the communication process as well. It means once the message got sent, sender to the receiver, and again the receiver is providing the feedback. So, it represent one activity. Okay. So, only one activity, for the one activity the communication has been done. Like there are different kind of activities are there in the management, and the number of activities is too much, and it is a like a day-to-day activity. So, communications will be done, or it is a process which should be, or it is a continuous process. It may be that within an hour you have to communicate many times with your subordinates. It is based on the situation. Okay. Last one is a pervasive function. Communication is a function which is very important, and it is applicable and universal at all level of the management and all the group or the any kind of setup where the members are working in the group. Okay. Not only the business organization, but all the organization. It may be that your hospitals, okay, your military setup, NGOs. So, everywhere we will be having the communication, or a model will be used for effective communication. Okay. So, with this we have an understanding about the concept about the communication, a proper definition of Lewis Allen of the communication, and we got an understanding about the characteristics of the communication. Now, what are the benefits if the communication channel or the flow of communication is very efficiently has been set up within the organization? So, what are the different benefits that the like your subordinates or your employee and the organization at the same time they will be getting? Very first one is a base for the decision making. Okay. Like any project that you are undertaking, suppose you want to come up with a new smartphone, okay, which has a very advanced camera. In that situation, based on certain information, you will be like planning your activities, or you will be taking the decisions. So, from where this particular information will be gathered, it could be from the internal as well as the external. Okay, internal and external. External means like you are making some kind of survey, okay, some kind of research, market research, and based on that you are gathering the information. So, it is also a communication with the external parties. Okay. Internal communication means like all the board of directors, executives, okay, the member of the vice president. So, all the top management, they will be like discussing the things. They will be like framing the policies and all, objectives and all. So, decision making will be based on the effective communication and how the information are gathered through effective communication. Second is sound planning. Like, what is planning activity? Like deciding the things in advance. Like what are the different activities that you will be conducting in the future is the planning. So, those activity which can be done in the future need to be set up in the present. So, how it is possible that without communicating or without sharing certain important insightful information to the lower level and to the upper level, the planning cannot be efficiently be done. Okay. So, planning with respect to implementation of the policies, objective, vision, mission, procedures, okay, budgets. So, these things are very much important because it totally depends upon the way you are communicating with the different levels of the management. Better implementation of plan. So, once you have decided all your plan, now the execution part is also very much important. Okay, like you have set the standards, like your raw material should be of quality which should exceed with the competitors' quality. All right. So, you will be sharing a detailed information towards your supplier that we need an upgraded or advanced quality of the raw material. So, implementation part is also very important, and for the sound implementation, all the stakeholders, internal as well as the external, they should be conveyed about the different kind of the objective that you have framed. Next is controlling. Controlling means like you are making sure that whatever the activities you have planned for is going on properly. The execution part you are monitoring whether it is as per the planned activity or not, as per the standard you have set or not. The standard you have set is with respect to advanced quality of the raw material. Now, controlling part will be ensuring that whether the raw material has been supplied by the your supplier X, Y, Z, whatever it may be, whether the raw material is matching your standards or not. Okay. With respect to the subordinates or the supervisory level employee as well, like you are controlling their activity, and controlling the activity means you are making sure that the day-to-day reports should be submitted. All right. So, the controlling can be also better channelized through the communication process. Motivation, like we have discussed about the theories of the motivation, and theories of the motivation or the theories of the leadership is based on the principle of communication, like how you are developing an interpersonal relationship with the superior and subordinates. And how it will be done? It will be done the more and more you are communicating with each other. Employee participation, it is an initiation or the your initiative process. It means like employee are given some opportunity to take some key decisions for the organization. Okay. So, until and unless the top management is like discussing the things with the lower or the supervisory level, the things cannot be channelized. So, it will be only done through a proper communication. Human relation, like harmonious relationship with your all levels of the management. How it can be done? Through proper communication. Public relation, it means how you are communicating the good things about the company towards different stakeholders. Okay. Like you are discussing with the media, okay, your shareholders, governments. So, these are some of the important element of the public and discussing the upcoming project, any kind of declaration of the dividends, okay, any kind of like collaborative work with the government. So, these things are very much important, and with proper communication it can be met out. Coordination, like more and more human relation and harmonious relation you will be having, a coordinated effort will be an output part, like within the group member are having very good relationship because they are communicating all the time. So, it will be the result of a effective coordination and harmonious relationship. So, there are n number of benefit if an organization is having a sound communication network. Any channel or any stage where it feels that the communication network is like getting weak or it is creating some kind of noise, the management should quickly like try to resolve these problems. Okay. So, there are so many things in the communication we will be learning. At the same time, what are the different kind of objective that the communication as a function of the management is trying to achieve? As you can see, very first one is inform the company's progress. It will be with respect towards the employee as well as with respect towards the other stakeholders. So, internal as well as the external, like a balance sheet. Okay, a balance sheet of the company is also a way of communicating with their different stakeholders. If the balance sheet is representing a very favorable balance sheet or the profit is very high, it will be a point of like increasing your goodwill towards the public. Okay. Second is order and instruction, like the proper communication network will be helpful in sharing the instructions, policies, order or any kind of report to the lower level employees. Okay. So, it is another objective. Obtain feedback. The way you are communicating, like you are the sender, okay, someone will be receiver, at least two persons are there. Okay. One is your sender, another is the receiver. You are communicating something. Suppose you are the top level and you are communicating with the lower level. You are giving some kind of orders. Order means like you are sharing some kind of responsibility to the lower level managers. Now, it is the duty of the lower level manager that they will be reporting the activities which they have completed as per the instructions of the top level. So, it is like obtaining the feedback from the lower level or with respect to the way the task has been completed. Prevent labor turnover. Since we have seen if there is proper flow of communication with all the levels of the management, the employees or the subordinates will be very happy, okay, because they are communicating with not only their level like the supervisory level, but towards the upper level as well. Okay. So, it will provide them a sense of belonging and that will be resulting in the like higher morale, higher satisfaction and they will be happy and ultimately the labor turnover will be lower. What is labor turnover? It means how many employees are leaving your organization and joining the other organization. Okay. Absenteeism or any kind of turnover is a negative thing for the organization. And last one is the motivation. So, one of the element or the objective of the communication is to increase the motivation level and through proper communication it can be done. Moving next, let us try to discuss this model of the communication. So, this model or this process of the communication is like very popular and it is widely used in many organizations. This model was given by Shannon and Weaver, and Shannon and Weaver model of communication it is called. So, as you can see, there are certain element of the communication model or the process. Very first one will be a sender, second will be your message, third will be your encoding, channel, receiver and decoding. At the same time, a feedback will be there and noise we will be discussing with some example. Now, very first, like we have understood, there will be at least two members needed for any communication process. Okay. One will be your sender, all right, and another will be your receiver. If only one person is there, then no communication can be done. One and more than two or more than two. Okay. Now sender, suppose we are taking an example like sender is your supervisor. Now supervisor is communicating a message with respect to like order. Okay. Order or we can be very specific like your supervisor is giving you some kind of task. Okay. The task of like sales report. You have to prepare a sales report. All right. So supervisor is your sender. The message is that he has sent you a document, okay, a written document, and the written document contains that you need to prepare a sales report in 3 days. Third one is your encoding. Now the supervisor has given you some kind of data for sales of 3 months. So this will become an encoding, like you are enclosing something and based on that you are preparing the report. Got it? So encoding is something we can call it which is encrypted thing with the message. Okay, suppose a message is being shared, okay, or any kind of the sender or your supervisor has sent you a Word document. The Word document is like encrypted, like you need to have the password to like open the Word document. So the encoding could be your password. Okay, at the same time, in this case we are taking the data itself. Okay, the data for the 3 months of sales could be encoded with the message. The channel we have already like discussed, it is a written document. So the channel is written document sent through like any person or like mail as well. Okay. So the channel is could be your like a written document, it could be your non-verbal, it could be your email, okay, anything. The channel is your written document. Now receiver is the subordinate. Now the subordinate will be receiving the letter through some clerk, and at the same time the receiver will be decoding it. Now decoding is very important. Suppose there will be two possibilities of the decoding. A receiver, or in this case the subordinate, may not be able to clearly understand the sales data or the encoding part. Okay, then they will be like providing the feedback. So two assumption is not clear and it is clear. Okay, so it will be very much easy for the sender and the receiver that whether the receiver is able to get the message clearly or not, and based on that there will be some kind of feedback. Okay, feedback will be sent towards the sender. In this case, feedback by the subordinate will be sent towards your superior, and either of the feedback, that is positive or the negative, that you got the message clearly and you will be replying that it will be completed within 3 days, or it could be that you need additional time. You are very much clear about the message, but you need at least 10 days to complete the sales report. So report could be anything. All right. Now the feedback is important to communication process complete. Okay. Suppose the receiver has received a message and has not conveyed anything. In that situation, it will be assumed by the sender or the superior that the message has been delivered and the message has been clearly understood by the subordinate, and they will be submitting the sales report within 3 days. But you have not communicated that we need at least 10 days. So it will be the fault of the like the receiver or the subordinates. Now one important element is the noise. Noise is what? When you are not when you are in the noisy place, okay, maybe at the railway station, bus stop, okay. If anyone calls you, it may be that you are partially getting the sound and you are not able to like understand the message clearly, or the communication is like there is a barrier for the communication. There will be break in the communication. The same noise is applied in this communication channel as well. It could be their dimension can be different. It could be the noise is with respect to the message itself. The message is written in for example some Chinese language. There will be noise because the receiver is not knowing the language, then there is a noise. The noise could be with respect to the encoding. Whatever the message you have encrypted, the message is not clearly read out, or they are not able to understand the sales report. Message could be with respect to the channel as well. Okay. Suppose you send the message and over an email, but the receiver is having no internet. In that case, it will be also a noise part. The receiver, the sender has sent the message through post, okay, speed post for example. But because of some like issue with the Indian Post, they are not able to deliver on time, or they are taking the time. So these can be turned as a like the noise for the overall communication process. So we have discussed about the communication and the basic strategy, or the objectives, the characteristics, importance, and in this slide we try to understand about the basic communication process. This will be very important, and wherever you go, this model can be easily applied. Alright. So with this we have completed the module 41, and these are some of the suggested book, you can go through it, and in the next module we will be trying to understand about the formal communication and informal communication. That is all for the day. Thank you so much.